Hello. Why do all Minecraft YouTubers insist on doing the F3 squat and punch? Why? My name is TDrizl, and this is a world I've been playing on since I think 1.8. And I've been a big fan of Minecraft YouTubers and just the game in general, the community. Always wanted to be a part of it, but never really had the means to do so. Decided since I have a computer that can, keep up and not really a whole lot else going on during quarantine, might as well give it a shot. So I've been playing on this world since 2013 with my friends Matt and Nathan. They don't play on it anymore. We used to have it as a server world that I just ran on my PC back in the good old days, and they'd hop on whenever they wanted to. This is our spawn. I think we spawned in somewhere over here, and can't remember whose base this was or what it was to begin with, but baby zombies. This is where we set up all of our easy farms, and it's gotten way overhauled. I'll show you some pictures of what it used to look like. Ugh. But we've got our, the melon pumpkin towers. Got our couple animals. I remember when this update came out, you could get the skeleton horse from the skeleton rider nightmare fuel. And this place is still a work in progress, clearly. There's crap all over the place, not really taken care of. We played through all the 1.9 snapshots, where every time you killed the dragon, you got a new egg. There was also, before the elytra, when you'd go on the end ships, instead of getting those, there were beacons there. So we've got, 4 beacons, that's my base. 4 beacons here in the middle. I've got 2 other bases I'd like to show you, a jungle temple and an ocean monument that both have tons of beacons there. A lot of those are from those snapshots when we were, hopping end ship to end ship, taking the loot. Anyway, to give you a brief rundown, this is probably the oldest thing in the world, a little farmland. Thought it'd be nice to have quick access for anyone who joined, and of course it's a single player now, but anyone who joined or hopped on, or if you died and ended up back at spawn, there's easy, sources for food here. Of course, the melon and pumpkins as well. We've got a AFK chicken farm that's always running. We used to have chickens in here that would fill this up with eggs, but the lag it created was too real because they would just sit on top of the hopper. I also came through here and killed most of the chickens that were in there. Let's go ahead and turn off the sheep. This is CubFan135's sheep farm design. I just squished it so it would fit inside a sheep head pixel art. So it's the exact same thing, it's just much smaller. But it works great. And literally all I've used the wool from this. The bee, the chicken's made of iron because the couple times I built it out of wool, lava burnt it down and I had to restart it. The only wool on this guy, of course, is his eyebrows and his texture there. The rest of it's terracotta. But this is where everything comes from, these couple of farms. Of course, got bamboo and sugarcane over here. And they all just funnel into these chests. They're sorted out. We've got a slime farm here. I intend to build a giant slime pixel art over this hole, but just haven't yet. I'm sure I have enough slime to do it. Just haven't felt like it yet. The very, very first thing I did in this world before Matt and Nathan even joined was try to build a squid farm immediately next to a river. You can see it has no problem spawning squids, and to nobody's surprise, never got a single spawn in here. There used to be a glass surface with the holes in it. Oh, nice. And it was that old trick that you could have the water go down in single file, all checkerboard next to each other, and then end. And of course, I don't know what update it was, but it ruined that. It all flooded. Took a long time to empty that back out. Haven't decided what to do with this hole. It's already dug out. I'm thinking maybe a creeper farm or a spider farm. Not sure yet, though. Projects for another day. For now, what I'd like to do is show you, what's around spawn, my base here, and maybe a couple other things. See if I've got any rockets set aside. No, I don't. That's okay. Let's grab these. Fly on over here and grab some sugarcane. I've been playing since, I think, about 2012. That was my senior year in high school. I graduated in 2012. And never really had too much, invested in the game. Just kind of little cheaty worlds here and there. But when my buddies and I started playing together and I saw what they were doing in their worlds, I was super impressed with their farms, the automation. And I started watching Minecraft YouTubers like Tango Tech and Impulse SV. I watch a lot of the people on the Hermitcraft server. Since about 1.9 though, people get older. Matt had a couple kids, and I've got a son now, so not a whole lot of time to dedicate to a server, so it's just been me on this world for the last several years. So this is my base. It's the simplest little castle design. They look like castles from a chessboard, in my opinion. And I've got, of course, the pixel art of Link. That's my skin, and my favorite game series is The Legend of Zelda. I've even got a little 8-bit Link tattoo. Love these games. And it was actually really expensive to make because I was building it before we had really any farms up and running, so I used a lot of gold blocks here and there. So the sponges, when the ocean monument was under construction and we were working on that farm. So I snagged a handful of those to make his little belt buckle there because I wasn't satisfied with the way the yellow wool or terracotta or the gold looked. Did y'all hear that? Is that a zombie villager? I swear it was. Anyway, so this was my first base. Started as a big netherrack temple just in the middle, that's all it was. And I decided to build the castle around it. I always liked the idea of having a desert temple base, but could never really justify squishing much inside of it. You kind of have to go underground with a base like that. And this is the world's simplest storage room, just kind of threw item frames on everything, and I've added the node blocks into it, so the mycelium and the crimson stems and all that good stuff's here. A little bit of everything. This is my garbage can. A lot fancier than Matt's. He had developed a system he called MUDS. I can't remember what it stands for. Matt's Ultimate Disposal System, maybe? Yeah. By Matco. It was just water stream to lava. Oh, and this is, where we all started before we branched out and had our own bases, was just this big glass box in the sky, and we got all the sand right here from spawn, which was in hindsight not a great idea. You really want to go off and farm that summer that you're not going to see it all the time. There's still sandstone on the ground out here. I've actually filled in a lot of the holes. Over here was just one big chunk of sand missing. You don't have to go very far down. I filled it all in with dirt. So back over here at my base, got my potion brewing room with a weech. I love the sounds they make. But I couldn't think of anything clever to name it, so I literally named it Witch with 2 E's. If I can see here. Weech. I think I've only got like water breathing, night vision, and fire resistance. Those are the only ones I ever used. And I used to have a witch farm that worked really well. I'll show you that. That had what's it called? Auto killing mode or manual killing mode, so you could get plenty of health potions from them. Plus, we did a lot of end raiding back in the day and had plenty of health potions lying around back in the day. But this is that simple design. I can't tell you who designed it. It's not mine. I don't take credit for it. But the potions are already ready to go. You hit the button, get 3 of them, and it automatically starts to brew 3 more. What else? I always liked the idea of having a full library full of villagers, and I kind of wanted it to not make sense. I wanted it to be weird and loopy and you could get lost in it really easy, but I had a hard time fitting that in this one pillar. So this is my attempt at that. I've got my little enchanting setup back here. This was an original OG villager from back in probably 1.8 or 1.9, and his trades did update, and I've traded with him a little bit. This is where I've gotten my Silk Touch and looting books, and of course that's like the worst price ever. So if you come up here, I kind of like this design though. I am a little bit proud of it up until you get up higher. I think it looks kind of cool. And the idea back in the day was to have the villagers in these little cubbies. So you'd come up and around, and there'd be one here, one there, 2 there. And I was going to put like a mending villager somewhere in this corner, but my mending villager despawned. So anyway, to give you the full effect, if you start at the bottom, come up. It's meant to be, it's symmetrical of course, but it's meant to be real loopy and kind of crazy. So you keep feeling like you're at the top, but then there's of course other ways, and it's not done. It's under construction still because I can't decide how I want to do it. The only iron farm on the server, or on the world, was over here. It of course no longer functions since, you know, a dozen updates ago, but I had so much saved up and so much that we're never going to go through all of it, so I haven't bothered with fixing it. And all these villagers, of course, still the old style. I think they're all brown coats. Maybe there's one cleric up there. It looks like he's been traded with even. But the rest of them don't have workstations or anything. And this used to actually feed down into my storage system. There was a chest in there for iron. I'm sure you saw it. That's really all there is to my base. It was kind of bland. I didn't really add a whole lot to it. I used to work on little things up here on the roofs. I have Chorus Farm back here behind it. Never gets used. I honestly can't even remember how it works. I know it was an awful design. I had to use a lot of dispensers instead of using pistons, and I think now you can even use trapdoors to hold the water back, but I wasn't that smart when I built it, and dispensers were the best I could do. And of course you can tell I'm a big Etho fan. I watch all his videos. He is a big inspiration on a lot of the stuff I've built. So now if we head into the nether, and this was never meant to be my permanent nether portal. We used to have a big nice nether out here in the middle, but it's all been reset so that we could, or I could, enjoy the new nether goodness. Man, they are loud. Let's turn them way down. What's up, Bubba? Ooh. As you can see, I am decked out in all netherite gear, all my tools. This is all where it's happened. As soon as that update came out, I came down here, deleted the nether, loaded it back up because I realized I didn't make note of any of the coordinates for other bases or farms or anything, so loaded it back up, took all those down in a book, and just started digging down here. I don't think I have any left. I think I've used it all, so I would have had 7 pieces. think there's 4 netherite scrap per ingot, so 28 netherite scrap from this big area. That's all the ancient debris I was able to find. But tons of quartz and nether gold ore. So, where am I at? Why level 15? Probably got that from an etho video. It kind of sucks. I really wish I'd gotten a portal to spawn over here, or in a Crimson Forest that's over there, or even another waste, because spawning right in the middle of this valley is not very fun, especially when you're coming. The first time I spawned on the portal right here, this is the first one. Sorry, the music was way loud and it was finally starting to get to me. When I first came through into the new nether, I'm right on the edge of this overhang, and I spawn in, I fall off the edge. Luckily I had my elytra and I just flew back up, but a ghast shot out the portal, and I did not think to bring a flint and steel with me. I had gravel and iron in my ender chest, but I only had a silk touch shovel, so I was, punching gravel blocks over and over again to make a flint and steel to go back home, and bring some stone with me and ladders to get up here to the top where it's safer. So if I can just hurry up here, and I missed. What I'm currently working on is a new gold farm. It's a combination of a couple designs. In recent episodes of Etho's Let's Play, on his single player world, he's got his witch farm. It's been a few weeks, but he upgraded it so it no longer uses arrows to shoot the witches out of their little holding area, but it's a shifting floor design, which to my knowledge were all patched out. But if you've got normal block, and he uses packed dice, that's what I'm going to use as well. If you use packed dice and soul sand with trapdoors on top that are standing up, when the floor shifts, they can fall through, which was news to me. I thought that was incredible. And it reminded me of Impulse SV's old ghast farm, where he'd have the pigmen just fall out the bottom every time they spawned, and they just fell out and died, and the ghasts would get caught in the middle. So the design is a mixture of those two, and I'll go into my creative world and show you what I've designed in there. I believe this way is my jungle temple base that of course was never finished. It was I bit off more than I could chew at the time with it. It was a pretty big undertaking. I'm surprised I got as much done as I did. It's been a little while since I was here. And it's nighttime. It's always nighttime when I come here. So I'll show you from the outside first. This was the closest jungle in the world, because I think when we originally loaded the world, I'm not sure if jungles were in the game yet. I'm sure they were. I don't know. So this was the plan. Spaced it out this big, and I was gonna blow all the ground up with TNT. Got decently far, and this was the temple right there in the middle. I love the design of the ocean monuments. So the plan was to kind of steal that design and incorporate it into a jungle base. Let me land over here. You can see it's even got the eye down there in the middle, or what I attribute to be an eyeball in the Guardian monuments. So the regular jungle temple up there, I decked it out with some sea lanterns. The vines are way out of control, but it was going to have the 2 branching arms, same as the monuments do. And of course this one's not even constructed. Ugh. This one I got not even halfway done with. How do I get back in here? Let me just break in. Ooh, let me in. So you come in up at the top there, and I was really proud of my stair design here. I thought it was cool. So you come in hindsight, it's a little bit convoluted. You come in, go down the stairs, and I love the look of these jungle planks with the cobble and the mossy cobble. By the way, really easy to build with. Cobblestone's everywhere. This is where I set up my bed and a couple of chests. Should probably trade one of them out for an ender chest. Then you come around here, and I always had plans to fill this in with like armor stands or something. Never did. So, one of the arms. I wonder how long that's been there. I haven't visited this place in a long time. I like this main room here with the design on the windows. It's literally one for one the design of the monuments. Ooh. It also doubles because there's no bodies of water around here as a squid farm. They spawn in these quite frequently. I think this is either Impulse or Tango Tech's storage design. Took a long time to build it. Sorts through the one of the downsides, you have to have all the blocks filled in, and of course there's different designs now. Looks like I've been here to grab some of the TNT and gunpowder for my rockets. All the redstone's gone. Don't know what used to be up there. Yeah, there's no iron here, but always planned on using this as my base after we all kind of collectively finished the Guardian Temple, but never really moved in all the way. It's just kind of been back on the back burner. Work in progress. And now if we move on to the Ocean Monument. Ugh. Whew. So this was at one point going to be somebody's base. I don't know if it was going to be mine, Matt, Nate's, whoever's. But none of us ever moved into it. And we set up, these massive sorting systems. No one ever came here often enough to actually farm this stuff up. Let's see. Oh. Never mind. Looks like there's a decent little amount of the shards here. Very few crystals, of course. So this is that eye I was talking about. Oh, and I remember this. This was our AFK room. I don't know if it's all monuments or if we just got lucky. If it is, I feel dumb, but this chunk right here in the middle front of the monument is a slime chunk. See, that looks like an eye to me, especially a guardian eye. And it was the only slime farm we had for a long time, and it was found completely by accident. We didn't realize what it was when we first moved in here. So, and of course now I've got the one at spawn. But we'd come in here, block ourselves off, and as far as I remember, the platforms were really little. We didn't really understand the concept of the bounding box of the chunk and how big. They're like, this guy, will he ever make it to the middle? And if he does, is he even going to take damage? Barely. So this was the only means of slime we had for a very long time. Not horrible, but definitely not great. Yeah, the track also just bounces back and forth, so it takes forever for him to drop everything off. Let me out. Did we have a way to get out of here? I think we may have used to have a ladder here, but we used to have slimes come into the farm, so we got rid of it. Right here in the middle is the killing chamber for the guardians, and I'll go inside and show you the farm real quick. So it was literally just a couple cells, one on either side. Is that a visual glitch, or is that... Looks like water source blocks have formed in those panes. Looks like that's the only spot it's happened. That's weird. Yeah, for some reason there's panes here instead of it just being scooched back one. With Guardian spawn, they fall into these water channels. And if you're lucky, you can catch them spawning. Anyways, they go down into the middle and die, and there's a chamber down at the bottom full of hoppers. And it looks like there's a block missing. I wonder if these still work. Back in the day, these used to have potions in them. And they were time delayed, so one would go off, and then the next one would go off. It doesn't look like there's anything left in them, though. Oh! I think that must have been poisoning, yeah. And a potion of harming down there at the back. I wonder if he spawned there, if he bounced out and fell in. This was back when the item elevators that were standard were the fence post ones. So items would hit the fence post and go up the glass or whatever. Of course, we never fixed it. I still have yet to fix it. AFK safe room. Not anymore. We also wanted to have a guardian on display somewhere in the middle, so we just put a pocket of water there and wait for him to spawn. I can't remember what we named him. Probably something like Bob or something short, but yeah, these beacons that are here, there's 4 in the middle and 1 on each corner, so 8 beacons total. We have not fought probably even 5 withers on this world. I think I've only done 1 or 2. So a lot of these were from the end when the ships spawned with beacons instead of elytra. But yeah, this was the Guardian farm. We were all proud of this guy. This was back, I think, in Hermitcraft Season 2 or 3. Can't remember who built it, but nice big Guardian floating in the water. I always thought the beam looked really cool. Man, these snapshots are still a little funky. Oh, of course there's no easy way back to the portal. It's been a long time since I've spent any time out here. So if we head back to the overworld, and I don't consider all these beacons to be cheaty because, I mean, I'm playing in a snapshot now. I've always played, you know, when a stable snapshot comes out, why not play in it? You know, new features, of course they're being updated, but why not? Speaking of cheaty things, I don't know if I've got one handy, but there's a time when you could put Infinity and Mending both on bows. I don't know if I have any lying around somewhere. Maybe there's one in here. Yeah. So you can put Infinity and Mending on a bow. You can't do that anymore. You have to pick one or the other. So these are, in my opinion, not cheaty to have, because at one point they were you could get them legit. You could enchant them and get Infinity or whatever on it and then add Mending afterwards. I just think they're cool to have. Like when you used to be able to stack different enchantments on armor. I don't have any of that, unfortunately, but so this is my world that I play on. I love this bee farm. I've seen a lot of different designs for bee farms. I decided to put 3 beehives in here because it's just me playing on it. So the ones in the eyes are for the bottles, and there's one in the middle you can't see. I had a yellow piece of glass there and I thought it looked weird. The one in the middle is full of shears. That's where I get my honeycomb. Where are all the villagers? Oh, they're all sleeping. Is it nighttime? Oh, it's getting to be there. How did he spawn over there? Okay, if they're allowed to be in bed, why am I not? Doesn't make sense. I think the only thing I have left to show you is the end portal. And this, you know, rail was supposed to take you there at one point in time, but never finished it. Oh. I think it ended, yeah, here at the skeleton farm. So there's a skeleton spawner down in there, and it was our first XP farm and our bone farm. Oh yeah! I can't remember whose base this was. It was Matt or Nate's, but they had this massive, they used like all the netherrack we had for all this nether brick, and there's nothing in it. It's empty. But it's this massive pillar. Yeah, nothing going on in here. I think this is just empty as well. I'm in a cloud. Yeah, it's more or less just a mob spawner down there. But I always thought it was a pretty neat looking design. I think it was supposed to have a pointy top eventually, but it's got the lava and water curtains next to each other. Never got finished, but the skeleton farm's here. The end is somewhere off in this direction. Yeah, there's torches. Here it is. And if you load this world now, this seed, the end is still somewhere in this area, but it's further off that way. Never understood why that was. Whoa, we get the major stutters. So down here is the only XP farm I use now. I don't even use the skeleton farm for bones at this point. I just use the nether, that Soul Sand Valley. I rip out a lot of the bone structures. So this is, in my opinion, still one of the most genius designs for a farm, but the endermite in the middle, that aggroes all the endermen, and it's a smallish platform, it's not very big. Stand off to the side. You'll see them spawn in, they pathfind to them pretty immediately. Much further and they wouldn't see him, and you'd have to wait for him to wander towards the middle. I am trapped. Let me in. So this is my XP farm. Down below here there's a dropper. Every time an item goes into it, it shoots it out, and I just have it shooting straight below into the void of nothingness. Because of course every chest in here is full of pearls. That's a horrible sound. So that's most of what I can think of to show you. If I think of anything else, I will show it in the future. But for right now, I've got some plans. Am I out of food? I'm out of food. Make sure to look at all the endermen while you're leaving the end, of course. But yeah, if I think of anything else from this world to show you, I'll make sure to make note of it. My plans for quarantine, at least being stuck at home, the gold farm that I plan on building in the nether. Of course, I told you it's a shifting floor design, and I'll bring you into my redstone world and show you what I mean by that. At one point I was going to use this as a Let's Play world, or not a Let's Play, but as a the world I was going to play on. You can go in, of course, and change the world type after you've loaded a world. So the plan was make a super flat world with one village in the middle. Immediately leave the world, save and quit, edit the files to make it a amplified world, and then come back in, and you're left with this massive flat area in the middle, surrounded on all sides by amplified terrain. But the way it generated like this, with the chunks that are still super flat, and then I don't know, and it goes on like that forever. But it never completely goes into amplified terrain. There's always chunks that are stuff, and it's kind of cool, but I don't know. Didn't know if I'd enjoy playing on it. So this is the design. You put trapdoors on ice and soul sand. And if I could spawn in some zombie pigmen, or zombified piglin, pardon me. Yeah, they will fall right through, which is incredible to me. I did not realize you could still do this. You have to have the trapdoors. I tried it without. They would just shift back and forth on the soul sand. So being stuck in one spot and transitioning from, full block height to slightly below, they'd sink in, and then when they shift back over, they're actually falling through the ice. So cool. So yeah, in the nether here, I've built a more full-sized version. But this is the full big version. I think it's 32 long. Of course, pistons can only move 12 blocks, so it's 12 blocks across. And like I said, this is the exact, block for block design of Impulse SV's gas farm back in the day. As soon as something trips the tripwire, it pushes off the redstone block, allows whatever items in there to move back and forth, and that gives you the shifting floor. Of course, I didn't build it up high enough, so the ones that I've tested it with have just fallen and walked around. But if you go up high enough, you can see it in action. I wasn't certain they would spawn here with the trapdoors. I didn't know if they'd spawn. But if I go up high enough, yep, you can see them. Now, only issues with this farm so far are when they hop up on here, on the trapdoors. But most of the time they pathfind off of them and fall through. The other issue is the babies will spawn and take up the mob cap and just stand there in the middle. But when I build it in my single player world, I'm going to build it up high enough, and there's going to be a roof on it so they can't, the full-size 2-block tall piglins or zombified piglins won't be able to jump over the trapdoors. They'll be stuck in the slot they spawned in, more or less. So the spawn rates will be quick enough that if a baby spawns in, they should pathfind, forward or backward. They can, of course, hop over because they're only 1 block tall, but with the testing I've done, they don't stick around very often. They fall through pretty quick. And these blocks, mobs have to be 24 blocks away for me to spawn, so I was just testing it here, realized I wasn't far away enough from the bedrock there, so further away I get, the ones on the ground will despawn, and then they'll spawn in and fall through. Yeah, it works really, really well. And I want to set up a big bartering thing like Etho has with that one piglin in his nether, where it automatically feeds them a gold ingot. They spit out their trade, and the second they do that, it spits out another one. So I'd like to have multiple of them, but for that I need lots and lots of gold. Gold farm that I was working on, I was trying to just build a donut where you aggro one of them and have them run to the middle. That was not working. I had the whole thing built up. I thought it was in another waste biome. Of course, it was not completely. I think half the biome was Crimson Forest. So all that work for nothing. I'm still in the process of tearing it down. I just left up the frame so I can tell where 24 blocks from the middle is in each direction, because I plan on building one of these on either side of the middle where I go up in the scaffolding. And then maybe on the Crimson Forest side I can set up one of those slam block flying machines that just goes back and forth to push off the hoglins and piglins that'll spawn. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little intro. I hope I, improve my ability to entertain on YouTube. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll start building the actual pigman farm probably tomorrow, if not tonight, but that'll be another episode. See ya.